Ever since Tristan stepped foot into our town, projecting the image of a dedicated, life-saving surgeon, I have had this nagging feeling that things are simply not adding up. If you ask me, his pristine white coat is nothing more than a carefully tailored disguise. On the surface, Tristan plays the role of a devoted medical professional perfectly, charming the nurses and saving lives in the operating room. But beneath that charming smile lies a hidden agenda that is bound to leave a trail of destruction. I firmly believe that Tristan is concealing his true identity, and the most explosive secret of all revolves around his parentage. My theory? Brennan is his biological father. If we pull on this thread, the implications are absolutely staggering. For months, Brennan has been operating in the shadows, navigating the treacherous waters of the intelligence world while keeping his most vulnerable asset entirely off the grid. Knowing that his ruthless enemies are constantly monitoring his every move, Brennan would have orchestrated his son's arrival with absolute precision. He never breathed a word about this familial tie to anyone, effectively protecting his bloodline from the vicious cycle of spy warfare. But bringing Tristan into the fold was not just about family reunions, it was a highly calculated tactical maneuver. Let us think about Tristan's background for a moment. I suspect his education extends far beyond traditional medical school. While he was supposedly doing his residency, Brennan was likely having him secretly trained by top-tier operatives. We are talking about advanced chemistry, covert toxicology, and the mastery of specialized biological agents. This means Tristan possesses the chilling ability to not only save a life, but to extinguish one without leaving a single trace behind. A doctor who knows exactly how to make a murder look like a tragic, unavoidable medical complication is the most terrifying weapon imaginable. Right now, we are watching Brennan navigate a highly volatile situation. He has formed an unholy alliance with Nina and Willow to take down Drew. But if you have been watching the show as long as I have, you know that trust is a luxury no one can afford in this town. Let us not forget the dark history here. Nina once poisoned Brennan with a paralytic drug, nearly ending his life. Even though they are currently shaking hands and sharing secrets for the sake of mutual survival, that kind of profound betrayal does not just vanish into thin air. Brennan is a master strategist. He knows that history has a nasty habit of repeating itself. Because of this fragile dynamic, Brennan is acutely aware that Nina or Willow could turn on him the second he becomes a liability. He desperately needs a failsafe, an ultimate insurance policy that no one sees coming. Enter Tristan. As a doctor, Tristan has unrestricted access to patients, secure medical files, and an endless supply of pharmaceutical compounds. No one would ever suspect the handsome new surgeon of being a covert executioner. If Brennan ever needs to eliminate a threat, Tristan could orchestrate a sudden heart failure or a fatal stroke, leaving the authorities completely in the dark. This is where the domino effect truly begins to take shape. The presence of Tristan is the first domino, and its fall will trigger a catastrophic chain reaction. The most immediate and terrifying threat looming over Brennan is not Drew, but his own superior Z. We have all seen the tension brewing. Z is highly observant and is undoubtedly beginning to suspect that Brennan is no longer a loyal soldier. Brennan is clearly pursuing his own manipulative scheme, and Z is not the type of man to tolerate a rogue agent. If Z decides that Brennan has outlived his usefulness and orders his assassination, the entire landscape will shift. If that assassination order comes down, I believe Tristan will be the one to intercept it. Imagine the sheer drama of Tristan stepping out of the sterile light of the hospital and into the murky shadows of his father's world. He could easily approach Z under the guise of a medical consultation or a routine health check. Just one tiny injection, a microscopic drop of a seemingly harmless compound, and Z would collapse. It would be ruled a sudden, tragic medical emergency. Tristan would effectively neutralize the most powerful man in the intelligence community without firing a single bullet. But the tragedy of this theory lies in the psychological toll it would take on Brennan. I truly believe Brennan never wanted his son to become a killer. Like any father caught in a dangerous life, he likely hoped Tristan would use his brilliant mind for healing, staying far away from the blood-soaked legacy of the agency. Yet, when a legacy family is threatened, blood always calls to blood. Watching Tristan willingly cross that moral line to protect him would shatter Brennan, forcing him to realize that he has doomed his son to the very life he tried to protect him from. Of course, in our beloved soap universe, a secret of this magnitude is a ticking time bomb. The truth cannot stay buried forever. I can already see the moment the second domino falls. A leaked dossier, an anomalous DNA test run at the hospital laboratory, or a misplaced photograph from the past. Once that undeniable proof surfaces, the shockwaves will completely level the town. The revelation that the hospital's golden boy is actually the lethal enforcer for a rogue spy will leave everyone reeling, questioning every single medical emergency that has occurred since his arrival. Once the truth is out, the third domino will strike our seasoned veterans. Anna, Jason, and Jocelyn will immediately connect the dots. Anna, with her impeccable instincts, will realize she has been outmaneuvered right under her own nose. Jason will recognize the technical brilliance of hiding an assassin in plain sight, and Jocelyn will be horrified to learn just how close the danger was lurking. They will launch a relentless investigation, turning the hospital into a silent battleground where every glance is suspicious and every prescription is scrutinized. As the investigation intensifies, the fourth domino will crash directly into the Unholy Alliance. Nina and Willow will inevitably discover that Brennan was holding this massive, lethal secret over their heads the entire time. The realization that Brennan had his own personal Grim Reaper stationed at the hospital will shatter whatever fragile trust they had built. Nina will feel utterly betrayed, realizing she was merely a pawn in Brennan's grand manipulative scheme. Willow, already teetering on the edge of panic over Drew, will realize she has aligned herself with a monster. With the Alliance in ruins, the final domino will fall right into Drew's lap. The collapse of Brennan's support system will give Drew the exact opening he needs to strike back. The blackmail material Brennan promised to secure will suddenly become a secondary concern as the characters scramble to survive the fallout of Tristan's true identity. Drew will exploit this chaos, turning the fractured alliance against itself. What started as a focused mission to neutralize Drew will dissolve into an absolute bloodbath of shifting loyalties and deadly paranoia. We have to ask ourselves what this means for the future of the hospital. For decades, it has been a sanctuary, a place of healing amidst the mob wars and spy games. But if Tristan is truly Brennan's weapon, that sanctuary is forever corrupted. Every patient Tristan has treated, every chart he has updated, will be called into question. The board of directors will face an unprecedented scandal, and the very foundation of the medical community will be shaken to its core. It is a brilliant, terrifying twist that honors the rich history of the show while pushing the boundaries of suspense. If you ask me, this theory perfectly encapsulates the tragic, vicious cycle that defines our favorite town. Parents try to protect their children from their sins, only to watch those children inherit their darkest traits. Tristan is the ultimate tragic figure in this scenario, a brilliant healer corrupted by a desperate need to protect his father. He is the ultimate shield against Z, against the betrayals of Nina and Willow, and against any force that dares to threaten his family. He is the ghost in the machine, the unseen hand that can alter the course of history with a single syringe. If this storyline unfolds the way I am predicting, we are not just watching the introduction of a new Doctor. We are witnessing the birth of a terrifying new era. Tristan will redefine what it means to be a villain, hiding behind an oath to do no harm while quietly orchestrating the demise of his father's enemies. The psychological warfare, the hidden agendas, and the inevitable betrayals will provide us with months of absolute television gold. I, for one, cannot wait to see how the writers peel back the layers of this incredibly complex character. So, I have to ask you, my brilliant friends. When the truth finally comes to light, and Tristan is forced to choose between the sacred oath he took as a doctor and the undeniable pull of his father's dark world, who will be his very first victim?